To other news for just a moment now, and Eskom is asking the Cooperative Governance Department to ask it to mediate in its dispute with the City of Tshwane over the Metro's power bill. Currently, Tshwane owes around 1.6 billion rand to Eskom. In the past, Tshwane has disputed parts of that bill and said that this was issues around monthly billing during the winter months. The DA's mayor of Tshwane is Randall Williams. Mr. Mayor, good afternoon to you. Why haven't you paid your Eskom bill?
Good afternoon, Stevens. Yes, this has indeed been a very, very difficult year for the City of Tshwane. We started off with a very, very huge deficit on our operating budget, and you don't turn 4.3 billion rands around in 1 year. It will take several years to do that. Indeed, we still have about 670 million rands outstanding for the September bill. And then also we have the October bill still outstanding, and within the next few days we will be getting the December bill. So what we set a plan, we gave a plan to Eskom that the September bill we will now pay off on the 10th of December, and the October bill will then be paid off by the end of December. And then the November one, which is the one that is due, we will then pay off, which will become due on the 17th or 18th of December. We will then pay off by the middle of January.
Why has this money built up over time? I mean, there was a time when the ANC was governed by Tshwane, and there was a time when it was when Tshwane was governed by the ANC, and there was a time when the City of Tshwane was actually in administration. I don't recall Eskom complaining about not being paid then. So why? Surely that would suggest the problem has been since you took over the administration in Tshwane.
What happened was that the salary bill inflated massively. There was an exercise called the benchmarking exercise that took the salary bill from 700 million rands per month to about 1.1 billion a month. And then you also had the period of administration where the city did no revenue collection, and also you had the COVID period for more than a year. Where revenue collection fell dramatically, and that's why you ended up with a 4.3 billion rand deficit on your operating budget. So what we have in the City of Tshwane is a problem of cash flow, liquidity. And for the month of November, for example, because of bargaining council agreements, City of Tshwane officials are entitled to a 13th check, which means instead of paying a salary bill for the month of November of over 1 billion rands, we then had to pay a salary bill of over 2 billion rands. So these then exacerbated the liquidity constraints, and we then had to schedule our payments to bring it in line with the cash inflow. And going hand in hand with what we call the Tshwane Yatima campaign, where we only have 2/3 of our customers paying their bills. 1/3 are reluctant to pay. And we are putting in place all kinds of measures to ask people, or rather to demand, that people pay for the services that have been delivered to them.
Mr. Mayor, from what you say, I mean, we know that smaller councils, often in rural areas, have the problem that you have now, that they are not sustainable. But you're the mayor of one of the biggest metros in the country, I mean, the administrative capital. You should be able to pay your bills.
Doesn't work that way. Problems that we have been built up over many, many decades. It didn't happen overnight. I can give an example. Bonacor substation, which we spend about 100 million rands to totally refurbish and to renew it. That substation was commissioned in 1939. After that, it was not properly maintained. And the substation just became derelict. And we had to refurbish because we had constant outages to the north of Wonderboom Airport, which forms part of the northern part of what we call the old Pretoria. So we have massive maintenance and upgrade bills because over many decades you did not have proper maintenance. You did not have replacement of assets. We are now paying for that. This is not something that happens within 1 year or 2 years. It happens over many decades. Now finally we have to pay the bill.
At the same time, there have been all sorts of political issues in Tshwane. Action SA that you're in a coalition with. We know that they seem to have a problem with you. They've said that they have a problem with you. At the same time, it looks like the ANC and the EFF may be teaming up in Gauteng and forming coalitions. Depends what happens in Ekurhuleni and Joburg. Difficult to know what will happen. Are you worried for your position?
No, I'm not worried for my position at all. I'm a politician. I serve at the behest of the voter. I'm certainly worried for the residents of Tshwane. The ANC ran the city for 22 years, and they caused a total mess. If you look at what you've mentioned earlier, why do we have liquidity problems? I can give you a good example. Salaries now constitute 50% of our operating budget. And that is despite the fact we've got 36% vacancies in the city of Tshwane. Now imagine us filling all those vacancies. It means our salary bill will take up 70% at least of our operating budget. And this was because of the policy or system of cadre deployment. Nothing else. So these are systemic problems that we are encountering now, and we're not going to resolve it within 1 or 2 years.
Randall Williams, thank you very much indeed. The DA's Mayor of Tshwane, the view from him.